All right, citizen reform. What am I talking about? First thing that has to happen with citizen reform is accepting responsibility. We don't live in a democracy, okay? We live in a democratic republic. Democracy is an ideal, it's a concept, it's an ideology. We live in a constitutional republic, and our people have to elect representatives that go and follow the Constitution and implement laws. As citizens, we have a responsibility, not just a right. And so there has got to be a focus from rights to your responsibility in this democratic constitutional republic. Number two, you got to make a commitment, okay? I want to give you an analogy of breakfast as as an example of making a commitment. When you have breakfast, there's a big difference between the chicken's contribution to breakfast and a pig's contribution to breakfast, right? The chicken is only involved with breakfast. The pig, if you have bacon, has to be committed to breakfast. You see the difference? I'm not trying to be extreme with this example. I'm simply saying that you have to be willing and okay with not living to see the fruit of your work. We're about to celebrate Dr. King and his contribution to humanity. And he didn't live to see the fruit of his work, but yet he put in that work. He was committed to that work. We have to have the same level of commitment to the work, to know that we have to invest in future generations. We have to invest in a better planet, in a better community, in a better society, in a better human existence. We have to invest in that, and that requires commitment. Number three, own your titles. Right? I've got a whole nother video series talking about owning your titles. Every title I have comes with duties and responsibilities, okay? I have multiple titles, you have multiple titles. And with regard to citizen reform, this is the title that you need to own the most. If we're going to have citizen reform, people have to realize that you have a responsibility to participate and engage in the political process in our society. A democratic republic, a constitutional republic depends upon its citizens being informed, educated, critical thinkers, and engaged in the process. So this notion that politics should be taboo, that we should be politically correct, whatever the hell that is supposed to mean. We have to have the coping skills, the conflict resolution skills, the communication skills, and the courage to have a conversation about these things that affect us all, because taxes, infrastructure, education, immigration, morals, norms, traditions, all of that stuff, we're intrinsically or inextricably, I should say, we are inextricably linked to those things and to each other. And so we've got to own our titles, be better citizens, be a little better uncle, be a little better neighbor, be a little bit better involved citizen where you live. One of the ways that you can be a better citizen and a better uncle and own your titles is to develop the 8 C's, okay? The 8 C's. Coping skills, communication skills, conflict resolution skills, courage, character, critical thinking, consciousness, and compassion. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I just wanted to get these solutions to the table because nobody's talking about solutions. We have this society today that's so overwhelmed where everybody wants to give their opinion, everybody wants to have a talk show, everybody wants to have a blog, but you don't hear a whole bunch of solutions. And so if we're going to talk about it, great, but let's talk about some solutions. Let's leave the table with some solutions. Now, the last thing, I think that's 5 steps: accept responsibility, make a commitment, own your titles, develop the 8 C's, and then make a commitment to lifelong learning, personal development. Get better every day. Do a little bit of something. We have these huge platforms and we have this ability to make huge impacts if we work together. I have played team sports through most of my youth, and I fully embrace the team ethos, right? The concept of together, everyone achieves more. Fully embrace that. And it's completely true. And we see it all the time with crowdfunding, with social media, all of this stuff. If we're all working toward the betterment of something, then great things can happen. And concurrently, if we're working toward foolishness and what we saw at the Capitol, if we allow ourselves to be manipulated by lies and misinformation and deception, then, working towards a group can work toward a bunch of detrimental things. So this is what I'm talking about when I say citizen reform. These are the things that people have to do, that we have to do. If we're going to live here together in a civilized society, we have to be better citizens. There is no way around it. The solution is not coming from the top. It's not coming from government, okay? It's not coming from government. First of all, we are the government. So this has to come from the bottom up. This has got to be a cultural movement of consciousness and responsibility. People have got to get better. We've got to get better. Let me know what you think.